those Ken and Gen are going to help you to special summon an Acid Golem if you want to. It's funny, do you remember like Acid Golem used to be a card you would make yourself because it was worth it?
I know.
Just to have a 3,000 attack point monster even if you couldn't special summon.
Now we want to give it to our opponent. But we're back with round 6, and his opponent is Karan with Dragon Link.
Dragon Link is definitely like an old favorite of mine. It's just a deck that's been around for so long and in so many different forms, but somehow it feels like it's a continuous deck. You know, it's slowly updating, but you know.
They'll always keep on printing Dragon cards. But Jack won the roll and is going first. Maybe we'll see the Ken Gen duo. And he has started off with Ken, the Warrior Dragon.
That was good. I wouldn't have known which one was Ken and which one was Ken.
I do love these cards.
Ken is the one that you don't want to draw though, right? Ken's the one you want to give to your opponent.
Yes, and he decided to imperm it straight away because once the Gen is on Karan's field, he no longer can activate this infinite impermanence. But this means that the Isolde can just go through if he's able to special summon another warrior monster.
Yeah, do you reckon Karan knows what's up now when you see the preparation of rights? He knows what the Mikanko cards do?
The deck is, I would say, not familiar it's not been around the top tables as much. So you might be unaware of the full possibility, to the full extent of what this deck can do.
Yeah, especially like with all of the new wanted cards, like he might know some of the cards, but he might not know how it's all going to fit together, you know? Yeah,
and he's just added Ome. Which has a really great effect of being able to add a Mikanko spell, I believe, or maybe a Mikanko card, and you discard one card, discarded a redundant Ken.
And then, what's that? Oh, that's an Arabesque. Okay.
Yes.
So you can return the Ken to your hand and then special summon a Mikanko monster. Does it get equipped with the Arabesque?
Yes. Okay. So if he summons a Hare, the Fire Warrior, he should be able to. Oh, he's gone for the Huli.
Huli?
Yeah. Which lets him add a Mikanko trap card, I believe.
Okay, he has got one Mikanko trap.
This one, I believe, lets him special summon the ritual monster from his hand.
Yeah, it kind of lets you cheese out the ritual monster, and in return, the ritual monster will be destroyed or go to the graveyard during your opponent's next end phase.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's much of an issue.
And I believe the spell card he just banished allows him to send a Mikanko spell and trap from his deck to grave. And he has passed with just that.
So do we think this is the Mikanko equip that lets you take your opponent's monster?
It is the Mikanko equip that lets you take your opponent's monster. So he's planning to use Ome's effect, quick effect, to steal anything that Karan special summons. Sad that we didn't get to see the Mikanko deck really pop off.
Yeah, this felt very like tame to me. I don't know what you think. Like, do you think it's supposed to be doing more?
I felt like he couldn't get an extra monster on the field. The Huli is a psychic and Ome is a fairy. So he wasn't able to go into Isolde and keep on playing.
So it's just Hare that's a warrior?
Yes.
Okay.
But Huli does have a really great protection effect. While it is equipped with a Mikanko equip spell, Karan is unable to target any of the Mikanko cards currently on the field. So he has to find a way of removing them. And the Mikanko cards itself, I believe, can't be destroyed by battle.
I'm guessing. Well, it makes your opponent take the damage.
Yeah, if Huli is equipped with a Mikanko spell, it can't be destroyed by battle.
So can't be destroyed by battle and can't be destroyed by or targeted by card effects. So that is a bit of a pickle, I guess, for Karan. Do you think there's a good way around that?
I'd be curious to see how he decides to play around it. What is in Karan's extra deck? He does play Access Code Talker. That is one way of getting around non-targeting.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't feel like it needs to be non-targeting Access Code Talker, does it? Like it does.
It's so amazing, especially you can't respond to its effect too.
It'd be very funny if Karan was playing like Ken and Gen and he could make a Bastille Dispart right here and take his opponents. Like it might be a thing because if you run the, I don't know what the attribute of Gen is, but you know if they're both light, then and you're playing the light charmer, that might be quite cool.
So he decided to summon Baron, and maybe he doesn't know he's unable to target. Yes, I don't think yet. Unaware of the Mikanko cards preventing you from target, and I guess that's how he's able to cut.
It's a big advantage if you're playing a deck people aren't familiar with. for sure. Like if you play a card that, you know, if your opponent's not sure what it does, like it's, you know, you might not realize that it grants targeting protection to all of your Mikankos. And this is another thing, like, do you think Karan knows that he has to negate that? I mean, I guess he has.
This is a trap card I'm not too familiar with, a Mikanko Spirit Wall. I'm reading it just now, and it seems really useful in this scenario. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and being able to equip that monster to one of your Mikanko monsters, it forces the Baron negate, as we saw here. Now Jack might decide to use the Omi's effect to steal the Black Metal Dragon.
Yeah, stealing an opponent's monster is a really annoying form of interruption. Like, we saw like Book of Moon being quite relevant as well, because a lot of monsters, like, you know, you want them in the grave or on the field somehow, but like taking it means that is not the way it works. Now it's just, you know, it's kind of vanished for a turn almost. It'd be like Book of Moon we saw really popular in the last format as well. Just ways to like stop your opponent using that monster in any way for a turn is really handy.
Karan looking through his extra deck, figuring out what he can summon now.
Yeah, because I think like, I mean, if Karan had known, maybe he might not have used the Baron pop already, and then you could now pop with Baron and get your search from your Red Eyes Metal Dragon.
Because now you might not have the monsters to be able to, let's say, go into access code and deal with the field. And it's going straight into battle phase to attack the Black Metal and get its effect to search for, I assume, Red Eyes Darkness.
Do you reckon he runs any other Red Eyes targets?
Might surprise us.
Activates Red Eyes Fusion, you know.
I wonder what else he has in hand. He didn't summon the Striker Dragon?
Well, he can't have summoned it.
Yeah, he didn't summon the Striker Dragon, which is usually how the Dragon Link deck tends to open up with.
Yeah, he's already used a Bestial. I think he started with Magnamut.
Leaving a 3000 attack monster against Mikanko is, I think, very dangerous. Traditionally, this has been a deck of giving your opponent a big monster and just attacking into it and dealing damage. So he's decided to use Bestial Saranir.
Yeah, that's Saranir.
Paired with the red MD, he can now keep on going. I wondered why he decided to, you need to go battle phase first, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just wanted to destroy the... Yeah, right, it doesn't look like he's... I mean, he did banish the Metal Dragon to summon Saranir, so maybe that's why he felt like, you know, he didn't want to banish anything else in his graveyard, wanted to make sure that got into the grave.
This way, he can use Bestial Regain's effect because he has banished the monster and getting another draw. Maybe this is how he preferred to sequence it. Getting an extra card isn't too bad.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna... I'm never too sure when you're playing this Dragon Link deck, like, when's the right moment to stop and when you want to keep going on. Because in this case, you know, he could turn some of his big dragons into a Romulus, for example, search a ravine, and then, I don't know, do what? But, you know, you can keep going, but it's hard to say if that's beneficial or you just want to, you know, pause now and go into a Hieratic Seal or something.
From my experience, I've seen players make Hieratic Seal a bit too early. I feel like they are maybe a bit scared of hand traps when the upside of not making Seal is maybe summoning Burrow Savage, Burrow Land, a lot more impressive monsters. But I wonder what Karan can do now. He might opt to summon a monster and go for Romulus, but I don't know where he would go from there. He hasn't used Rocket Tracer's effect yet, so that is also an option.
But he's got to get the Rocket Tracer into play.
With the Red Eyes Darkness Metal?
Oh, I see, you'd rather do that than... Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Triple Tactic Talents. Was there a monster effect used?
Yeah, he used the Ritual Monster.
Yeah.
That doesn't target.
I think he's found his answer to clearing the board now.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Ritual Monster's just gonna... Is it gonna go to the graveyard in the end phase, or is it gonna go back to Jack's hand?
I think it goes back to the hand, because... I think it only goes back to the hand if it's summoned off...
Yeah, it was summoned for the Mikanko
the great Mikanko ceremony.
Yeah, it gets returned to the hand.
This is going to be a tough board for Jack to play through. Dragon Link is one of the decks, when it starts playing, the board it does put up is, I think, somewhat oppressive.
Oh yeah, it's very good. I mean, the fun thing about Mikanko is you don't need to play through your opponent's board, right? You just need to...
Summon enough monsters and deal damage.
Yeah.
But is this what he's going to end with? With only an SP Little Knight? The Baron has already used this effect negation.
Gone, so just a Little Knight. But what's Jack got left?
That is true.
You've got a lot of like gas with the branded regained. And I mean, I suppose having a Bestial on hand doesn't really achieve very much against this Mikanko deck.
It is past the Jack's turn.
I mean, I think the Little Knight's very annoying for a deck like focused on equips, because if your opponent activates an equip, you just get rid of the monster. That's kind of like a 2-for-1. And yeah, it was enough for Jack, I think, picking up his cards.
Yeah, I don't think he had enough in his hand to deal with what Karan put on board. We see Jack putting in 3 summon limits and 3 Droll and Lockbirds. So
he's not messing around.
Some very effective answers to Dragon Link. I think either of those cards alone can stop Dragon Link from playing the entire turn.
So do you think this is a going first, going second kind of... Did he choose to go first in game 1?
Yeah, I think he has a going first deck, but I can imagine it gets better after siding, because you can somewhat take out the cards you deem bad going first or going second and put in, I guess, what we're seeing is blowouts into his deck.
I feel like decks where, you know, traditionally going second, and then when it has going first options, it makes it all the more powerful, right? Because now you've got a deck that can go first really well and its engine can go second really well, which is always a really cool feature of a deck. That's
one of the reasons why I was really fond of Mikanko, because what it was lacking was some strength going first, and I think it found that with Ken and Jen. Like, it did force the infinite impermanence. If only he was able to get another warrior monster on the field, we could have seen some Isolde combos.
And there's one of the other things I really like about Dragon Link as well, is like the Bestials are cards people side in when they're going second, but you just get to play all of the Bestials in your main deck as a part of your engine, which is amazing against like Tearlaman's still the most popular deck today. So what a great thing to do, to play all the Bestials in your main deck. Yeah,
I think Bestials have been amazing for quite some time now against Unchained. You can deal with some few monsters that try to special summon, like Unchained Soul of Rage, if they ever tried to special summon it from the trap. And there was a point where Live Twin Runic was about and strong, where you'd want to summon a Kizakula Lila, and the Bestials just dealt with that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe half the field at any given time is playing like something with Lights and Darks. I feel like Lights and Darks are way overrepresented compared to the other attributes. Like, we're seeing a lot of fire cards today, I think. So fire is making its way back. I feel like fire decks have been like traditionally the least popular out of all attributes.
You don't remember 2019, the rise of Salamangreat?
Salamangreat, yeah, we just saw double Salamangreat.
Or round 5.
Yeah.
No, but I do agree with you. Even the decks in this tournament right now are very diverse. Jack again starting. Will we see Ken and Jen resolve?
I want to see it, but I really want to see like...
I see a Jen.
Oh, I really want to see Ken and Jen in like a Dark World deck.
Ooh. Being able to trigger the secondary effects of Dark Worlds has always been scary. And I believe it's resolving. Jack very happy, knowing he will not have to deal with infinite impermanence now.
One of the super cool things about Ken and Jen is they trigger your own Triple Tactics cards. So we see here in Jack's deck, that's 5 Triple Tactics cards. There are 3 Thrusts and 2 Talents, which is like obscene.
Those cards were already powerful enough, let alone now being able to activate something like Frost on your first turn.
You can like make your opponent activate it for you. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Similar opening, but minus the impermanence this time.
Is it going to be enough for him to combo? That is the question. He does also play the Diabellstar cards and the Sinful Spoil cards, but we have not seen them in action yet. I believe he probably plays those cards to try and get into more warriors.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's in his extra deck, what we're going to see. Like, I feel like a lot of decks, you know, you use the main deck monsters to generate a bunch of stuff.
Oh, this is really cool. So he's now can use the Mikanko equip spell Arabesque to target the Ken on Karan's field, and now special summon the warrior from his deck, which we didn't get to see last game due to the Ken being negated.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, because again, like, Arabesque is really powerful if you can target an opponent's monster with it, and this, you know, Ken again giving you one for free.
Now we're finally going to see the Isolde. I feel like Jack is now getting into the full swing of his combo.
Yeah, this is like, I'm really excited to see what this is going to end up looking like. I mean, Mikanko as well, like, plays a bunch of equips that you want in the graveyard, so it's really fantastic that Isolde can just send them to the graveyard for you.
One of the equip spells that we're seeing now, Mayo Washi Dori, has a graveyard effect that is recurring advantage. It essentially lets you special summon a Mikanko from the graveyard with very little cost.
Yeah, no cost at all, right?
Yeah. Which makes it so good. He has the setup already established. And the thing, one downside with the Dragon Link deck, to make room for all these Bystials, I think you do have to sacrifice on non-engine type cards.
Yeah, I mean, Bystials are typically like, in other decks they are non-engine type cards almost, but obviously it's not the kind of non-engine cards you would want to play against the Mikanko deck for sure.
When we look at Karen's deck, I only really noticed the Triple Tactics Talents and Infinite Impermanence as what I would call non-engine. Ash Blossom, of course, and Nibiru.
Do you think he has any idea what he was supposed to decide?
I think Nibiru could be really good.
Yeah, I mean, Ken again, don't turn off Nibiru for sure.
So Jen makes Karen discard a card. So this is where he's now trying to use Magnemite to make sure this isn't. Oh, to be fair, he's using Magnemite early.
You get to choose the card to discard, I thought.
I think
or is
you
it random?
do. I can't remember. Well,
I thought you got to choose, but maybe
If it is random, it makes it even more powerful. I think he did get to choose.
Yeah, I don't know why he used the Magnemite now, though. Maybe that was...
Might have been preemptive. I think he might have just misread it.
He's going to get the Magnemite and the Red Eyes Metal Dragon?
The Black Mail has to be sent from the field.
Oh, it has to be sent from the field, okay.
Jack trying to think through his phrase. He has 1 level 3 on the board. I believe he needs 2 more monsters to be able to do that Assa Golem play. However, since Karen does play level 6s, I believe he has the ability to just tribute summon over it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't think Acid Golem says anything about not being able to be tributed.
So I wonder what other forms of interruption Jack can also put on the field.
I mean, taking out your opponent's normal summon is not irrelevant, but it feels like quite a lot of effort to take out your opponent's normal summon.
But now seeing this Magnemite on the field, knowing it's pretty much almost guaranteed, would you maybe consider changing how you actually play this?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know what he's going to go for in that case. So you can make, I mean, SP Little Knight is very popular. But yeah, I don't know, he's got IP Masquerade, so make SP Little Knight on his opponent's turn. He's got Appaloosa. Funnily enough, Karen's put the Magnemite in a relinquished Anima Zone, which is something you have to remind yourself not to do when you're playing against decks that summon level 1s, which Jack's deck is. Jack
special summoned the Assa Golem. Another reason why Assa Golem is really good in this deck is because of its stats. It has 3,000 attack and 3,000 defense, so no matter the position that the opponent has it in, the Mikanko monsters are able to deal a lot of damage.
So yeah, you did point out correctly, I think there's no way this Acid Golem is going to stick indefinitely. It's going to get tributed for a Bystial at worst.
Then I wonder what else Jack is going to do. I think from him, he might summon SP Little Light to banish the Magma. But Karan still has so many cards in hand. Like, even if he does use his normal summon. Oh, but then again, Jack also has so many cards in hand too.
Maybe just stop your normal summon. Yeah, right, it does feel a bit, subpar, I think. But, as long as Karen remembers to search off Magnemite, which I guess he's already activated, so he kind of has to.
Yeah. Now it's at 1. It's not something you can forget. But Jack does have Droll and Nibiru in hand, which might be enough to...
Droll and Nibiru bird, yeah.
Karan will be playing with quite a lot of restrictions in his turn. Assa Golem, Droll, Nibiru.
Yeah, I'm interested, is there, what else can you do with this? You can, with the Assa Golem, you can tribute summon with it.
You can use enemy controller. Some decks are playing Unforbidden Droplets.
Enemy controller and droplets. Is there anything else you can do with it? I suppose no one's running Book of Moon anymore, really.
Not many people are. It is somewhat of a gamble. Because I do think enemy controller is somewhat popular in the Rescuers decks, but I think it is very impactful against Two Elements, which kind of has to sacrifice the type of cards you can play in a deck, because you're very reliant on milling good quality cards.
Yeah.
And I think this is where the Assa Golem really shines.
I feel like you could just play through under ease as well. That'd be
True,
fun.
that is. I wonder what his strategy would be then. Yep, tribute summoning over the acid golem. Wasn't very tough for him to remove it.
I mean, yeah, it's cost him a little bit, just his normal summon, because otherwise that Saturday would have been summoned for free, but...
Jack still has 6 cards in hand.
That's a lot of cards. So that we're seeing there, like, the Ken, is that the Ken effect that draws 2? Yeah. So the Ken's the one keeping you a bit of advantage. So it basically turns your Gen into something free.
Yeah, and he still had to discard.
And Karan still had to discard a card as well, yeah.
Summoning, special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Even if you wanted to use the Black Metal Dragon, he wouldn't be able to.
So not too much of a downside for Karan having to discard the Red Eyes Metal Dragon. Now it's just in his grave, he can bring him back anyway.
I wonder when Jack will decide to use the SP.
Yeah, I feel like in response to the Red Eyes, it might have made sense just to make sure you can use it at some point and doesn't just get attacked.
Because at any moment now, if Karan wanted to remove it, he would be able to. Maybe, well, after this, maybe he wanted Karan to add to be able to resolve this draw really early. It also makes me wonder why Karan wanted to banish his Bestial Saranir, because it has a really good graveyard effect of sending Bestial Lubellion, and Bestial Lubellion is would be really good right now in the grave because he would be able to tribute the Red Eyes Darkness Metal.
Yeah, I'm not sure like what else he could have done if he hadn't banished it for the Red Eyes Darkness Metal.
Maybe it might indicate he doesn't have many more special summons available. Maybe no quick launches or other Bestials.
Yeah, you'd need a quick launcher because you want to get that level 4 or lower into play to make Strike a Dragon.
And I think he might decide to go for Romulus. Romulus here would get him Dragon Ravine, and from Dragon Ravine he can go into Absarar, but he is showing us here he already has Dragon Ravine.
The Draw and Lockbird's been hit the graveyard.
I did forget about that.
Can't get too excited. I do it like so many times. It's so bad when you play like somebody plays Draw and Lockbird.
Oh,
you like think for 5 minutes and then you're like, let me search this, and your opponent's just like, Draw is here. I just played it, and you're like, oh yeah, sorry. Or when you try and search like under your own Draw and Lockbird, very easy to forget.
No, I completely agree. Deciding to use the SP Little Knight effect now.
Because I feel like, why didn't you just do this earlier? I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference, but
I guess Karan was maybe planning to send the Bestial Lubellion or Saranir, then send the Bellion.
Yeah.
But now Jack has activated a monster effect. He can now activate the talents, but he's unable to steal anything, so he'll be forced to look at Jack's hand.
Yeah, unable to steal and unable to draw. So yeah.
And Jack does have the Mikanko spell in graveyard, Mayo Tori, to keep on playing.
It does get banished after you use it the first time, I think.
I think the monster gets banished.
Oh, is it just the monster? You can bring back every turn? That card's amazing. That's really cool.
Talents to look. Staring down the two Nibiru's and Ken. I wonder what you take. I think you'd take the Ritual Monster to try and stop them getting to more Mikanko cards.
Yeah, it feels like either that or the Ken, I guess.
Yep.
Does the equip Maya Washidori negate the effect of the monster that it summons?
I don't believe so.
Because otherwise you can just special summon Hare back, right? Or Ahime back, and then you get another search?
Yeah, you can exactly do that.
That sounds incredible. Just during you can special summon a monster and just equip it and then get a search? That's quite good.
SP coming back to the field. Red MD on the field too, a really big monster that Jack can use to...
You're not supposed to use your opponent's monsters to kill them, but I guess you're allowed to in Mikanko. I think one of the things about SP I really like is, I mean, obviously it's an insanely powerful card and we see a lot of it, but it does make these kind of like messy, complicated game states for players to really like get their teeth into, you know, like when both players have an SP, or you have to remember that you're going to have a couple of monsters on both players' fields at the start of any given turn. It can make the game like really complicated and like really have to make you think.
For sure, like if Karan had maybe gone 10 steps in, it's something that you can easily forget about too.
Oh, imagine a spell that like gets rid of one of your opponent's monsters and summons one for you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So right now, I believe if Jack is able to put down another Mikanko monster, he can deal 8,000 damage, but Karan has already scooped up, realizing he's unable to play. So we see Mikanko steal game 2 without really using the Acid Golem. The draw on Lockbird was enough, and I think wasting the normal summon was enough.
Yeah, between the draw, the normal, and the fact that Karan had already discarded a card, like, there was quite a lot going on, even though it didn't look like there was a massive field at the end of the turn. Like, I feel like Jack had already achieved quite a lot. He'd also drawn 2 and discarded 1 off of Gen.
And Jack already having the Mariwashidori in the graveyard just meant he could just keep on playing, special summon the Hare. The talents really didn't do much. And now he's opting to take out the summon limits, which don't do much, into a full Dragon Link board.
And the any size Dragon Link board.
So now Karan has seen both Droll and Nibiru. What do you think he'll put in?
So we've got... I mean, I don't really feel like Dragon Link needs to side an awful lot going first. I feel like kind of the point of the deck is that it's very, very powerful going first. Anyway, it's a big combo deck. I mean, maybe the Branded Beast from the side deck will find its way into the main deck. That seems like a pretty reasonable...
That makes a lot of sense.
Reasonable card to side in. There's a one-dimensional barrier. I don't think that achieves very much here. It does. You could go Ritual with it. It doesn't feel like it does quite enough. It's just to shut off the one card.
But no, I completely agree. The Dragon deck is very powerful going first. It can do so much with such little monsters, and the end board it makes is oppressive. What does Jack have to put in? He has already the free draw on Lockbird. I think we can see maybe the Kaijus?
Yeah, I feel like Kaijus seem pretty useful when you're going second against anything, and obviously the Mikanko deck is a deck that really values your opponent having a large monster to attack into, so I could totally see those coming in.
But the thing with Dragon Link, they established so many, I would consider big monsters that I don't think the Kaiju does enough, because they establish so many big monsters and they tend to have so many cards in hand too, because everything just seems to search.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So maybe you just want cards that are more impactful. Maybe the DD Crows come in as well.
There is no Ash Blossom in Jack's deck, or in his main or side, which I do find interesting.
I love it, to be honest, because everyone runs Ash, so just don't go with the flow, do your own thing. Don't, you know, who cares if you play against Branded, just...
I really do love that people have their own opinions and are able to do whatever they want to do. That's how innovation is done. And yeah, we're back to game 3. Karan is starting, and what do we have here? Oh,
he's gone second. So this is the thing, like, he obviously thinks that the Mikanko deck is a going second deck, and I'm not sure him and Jack have the same opinion on that. I mean, maybe he's like aware that Jack chose to go first, so it's just saying, okay, like if you're going to choose to go first, I don't know, maybe he's just trying to throw him a bit with the side decking patterns. It does seem quite weird.
I am very shocked because
it's worked though.
Has he passed?
He's passed. Although if you see a Droll Logbird being discarded, that surely means that there's a second Droll Logbird.
But I think Karan might be able to deal 8,000 points of damage under this Droll. We can see the quick launch too.
God, can you imagine if Karan was also playing Gen and Ken?
I am. One thing I did like about this Mikanko deck is that people might let you start. Let's say if Jack did go second, like Karan won the road, Jack went second, he showed some Mikanko cards, then you might decide to just let Mikanko start.
It definitely feels bad though if your opponent like lets you start and you just brick anyway. Which seems to be what's happened. It's amazing to brick with 7 cards. Like,
I don't think this usually does happen because as we saw, he just needed one maybe Arabesque and he would be able to continue playing. Yeah,
like 1 Arabesque, but in order to search the 1 Arabesque, you've got 3 of the Ritual monster.
Preparation of Rites.
3 Preparation of Rites. That feels like quite a lot, assuming he's running 3. I know, maybe he's only running 1 and 2 okay, so maybe he's not running that many ways to get to Arabesque, but...
The deck does also play the Talents cards.
Yes, and
we didn't also see them paired with the Gen. Yeah. But Karan is doing a lot under this draw, already summoning a Baron into Jack's weak hand. I think it's a lot.
Yeah, this is quite a lot. I mean, he's not used the Baron pop, right? So he could just pop the Ken and then make a Boral Savage maybe.
He can do a lot. The Darkness Metal, Red Eye's Darkness Metal is 2A. He just needs to essentially put 2,200 more points of damage. He's used Rocket Tracer's effect, and 1 level 8 Synchro should be enough to steal this game. Oh, deciding to link away both. Is we going to see an...
Maybe we're going to see some fancier Dragon Link players?
A Dark? Into SP Little Knight? Oh, Triple Burst into Access Code, which also does it, a 5-3 Access Code. And that's the game. Jack with a, I would consider a weak opening hand, only seeing Ken, 2 hand traps and 2 Mikanko monsters. I believe he only plays 1 Hooligan Hare, so it's kind of unfortunate to see. We did not see any of the Diabell style cards.
No, you're right, actually. So, I mean,
which is somewhat unfortunate over the course of 3 games, because I think they really do help the Mikanko deck's consistency.
Yeah, I'm wondering about like the siding patterns for Jack there, because obviously we see like multiple kaijus. So maybe that play from Karani, even though like, you know, maybe it's not what you might want to do now, it worked just with the siding patterns, even though the Mikanko deck is capable of going first. This is like a strategy people have done just to throw people off in like combo heavy metas. Then if you're expecting your opponent to side in like 10 plus hand traps, you say, okay, you go first. And
yeah, if Jack did take out some of his consistency cards, he would be more vulnerable for him to start.